two. What up, what up, what up? We are back for another episode of Pete's Corner. I know it's been a long time.
Wow.
I'm your host, Peter Soprano. And right out there, you also see him out there, is D-Money Drizzy Dre.
What's going on, people?
And we are back to talk a lot of shit. Like, listen, we haven't been talking to you guys in a long time.
That's been forever. Super Bowl? Was this Super Bowl?
What?
I said the last time was this Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think the last time was the Super Bowl. It's been a long time since we actually had a show. I mean, we can't be doing that again, man. We got to talk about something.
Nah, absolutely, dude. There's a lot to talk about, especially with the whole NFL draft coming out too.
Yeah. So the big thing right now, obviously, coronavirus took over everything. COVID-19. So everything is still shut down. Things will start to progressively come back over the next month or two. But listen, the big thing this week, we had the NFL schedule released, and I know you had a lot of things that you wanted to say about that, Dre. So why don't you take that part away?
Cool, man. But before we start, I know you guys had a chance to touch up on it. I want to touch up on it. I just want to send my condolences and love to Jimmy Glenn's family.
Definitely.
And Uncle Jimmy, dude. It's like you said, man. Unfortunately, not just the sports world, but people's lives is changing. And this pandemic took a dear friend of ours. And just to touch on it real quick, man. I mean, dude. Every time we go out, we have good times with the boxing family. You, dude, when I first started going out with you to Madison Square Garden, the first place we'll go to right after anything, whether it's wrestling, boxing, anything, the first thing we'll go to Jimmy's Corner.
Yeah.
And he's always there. He always welcomed us with open arms. I was lucky that he was open, because obviously you knew him longer than I did, but he took me right in, like as if as if he knew me for a long time.
Yeah.
And obviously this is going to be a super big void that's going to be, attached to us. So, my condolences to him, his family, his son, and everybody that had a close connection with him.
It's amazing how many people.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's unbelievable.
Everybody just came out talking about it. Everybody showed their pictures. Everybody said their condolences. Everybody talked about how great of a person he was. And Vic on the show talked about even with his wife being mean to him on purpose, but that was her way of showing love. Like, I still remember every single time Vic would have his chair in the middle of the aisle, like people are trying to get through, and his wife would always come through, like, get out of the aisle, get out of the house. It was just one of those things. Like, it was funny. Like,
it felt like you were home. It felt like if you were at my house or if I was at your house,
yeah.
And you got the mom or the father talking to you, and that's how it felt. It felt like home. I remember one time before we get started, for the David Lemieux Golovkin weekend, I remember the promotional company they set certain locations to go pick up the tickets for the weigh-in.
Yeah.
Because they said that for the weigh-ins you need the tickets.
Yeah.
And Jimmy's Corner was one of the spots. I remember I got up that day. I went to Jimmy's Corner, and that thing was packed. But It was packed because people were getting tickets.
Yeah.
As soon as I walked in, I went straight to the bag, pushing people. As soon as he saw me, he said, "What's going on, bro?" Like, at first he didn't recognize me. He said, "Damn, boy, you growing up." He's like, "You got a facial hair now or whatever." But he was like, I asked him, I said, "Yo, what's up with the tickets? They're gone?" He said, "Nah, don't worry about it." Like, he said we ran out. I went to the bar, got a beer with my sister.
Yeah.
He came back to me. Matter of fact, his son came to me. He said, "Hey, look, my father sent you these."
Wow.
I was like, damn, dude. Like, I understand. I probably got there a little late, though. But that's the type of dude that Jimmy was. Always looking after people. Always making sure people were comfortable at his bar. Yeah. And, it's sad. It's truly sad. And like I said, my condolences out to him and his family.
They'll never be forgotten, man. Ever.
Well, let's get started, man. So the NFL schedule. It was exciting, man. Again, the whole draft and now the NFL schedule, at least to me, the NFL schedule, once it's out, to me, that's when the season is going to approach fast.
Yeah.
So, Pete, I wanted to ask you, in your opinion, what do you think of the Tennessee Titans schedule? And are there 3 games that stick out to you that you might be looking forward to the most?
Yeah, I actually looked over the schedule. I went over the records and stuff. I think they're going to have like a 10-6, 11-5 type of year, where it'll probably be the 3 or 4 seed in the AFC. The 3 games that stood out by far to me is the opener, because usually, especially as a Titans fans, you don't really think that you're going to be on prime time for an opener. And they're going to be the last game of the week, Monday night late game in Denver. And it's just shocked me because one, they don't usually put Tennessee Titans on Monday night normally that much. Last time I think was 2 years ago. They played against the Dallas Cowboys and they beat them up a little bit. So Cowboys fans can't say nothing to me, but I think that just having them be on opening night in front of in front of everybody, because everybody watches on Monday night, and after what the season they had last year, this is their chance, and they're an underdog in that game. I think they're a 3.5-point underdog. So
Who are they playing again?
Denver Broncos in Denver.
And Tennessee's underdog.
Yeah, 3.5-point underdog. So this is their chance to come out now and say that. I mean, but listen, they were a 9-17 last year. They got hot at the right time. So now this is their chance to say, all right, we were for real. We're a legit team. We're gonna go out there opening week and show people what we are. So I think that was one of the big important games to me. The second big game, November 22nd against Baltimore. The reason why Baltimore got their ass kicked last year, they were the number 1 seed. Everybody thought they were going to the Super Bowl. They were a double-digit favorite against Tennessee, and they got rolled over early. And they're going to want revenge, and they're going to want revenge really bad. So that is going to be a statement game. If Baltimore wins that game, they got their revenge. If Tennessee wins that game, they're going to be completely in Baltimore's head. They're going to say, we own them. Like, they're our new Jacksonville. We have them now. So, and then the last game is going to be just like one of those legendary games because it's Lambeau Field right after Christmas.
Wow.
You are going to be in chilly, frozen Lambeau Field. And that, to me, that type of game is one of those games that if you can get tickets to, that's a must go to. Like, I'm going to look up and see if I can find tickets to go to Green Bay for my first game and see if I can go to that game. That's one of the unbelievable things that everybody, I think, should try to experience as a football fan, is a game at Lambeau Field. And to have it be right around Christmas, that's just literally the icing on the cake. So, obviously, you're a Steelers fan. What do you think for your 3 games for the week? Not for the week, but for the year.
For the year, actually, I'm pretty comfortable with the schedule. I actually like how, it's funny you say that. So we're both going to share primetime games. So that same evening, the Pittsburgh will start off at 8:00, and then you guys will follow right along.
7:00. They got to do it early.
Yeah, that's right. You're right.
7.
Now, that's not one of my games though, but I am interested in that game just for the simple fact that we're going to get Big Ben back, and that's going to tell us right off the bat, okay, we're just, elbow at whatever. That's not going to be an easy game, but that should be a game that we should win. So I'm okay with the first couple games of the schedule. But my first game that I'm actually looking forward to out of the 3 is your team, Tennessee Titans. The reason for that is because, in my opinion, Tennessee Titans is easily one of the top 3 teams in the AFC. To me, that is going to be the team that if we could go to Tennessee and give them trouble and beat them in Tennessee, that's going to say a lot as far as where Pittsburgh stands with Big Ben Roethlisberger. Now, if, we shit the bed or whatever, that's a different story. But to me, that game is a measuring stick as far as where Pittsburgh is going to go throughout the season and the postseason if they make it there.
Yeah.
The second game I'm looking forward to the most, it's the Thanksgiving Day, Baltimore, 8 p.m., dude. I mean, honestly,
somebody's gonna get hurt that game.
Somebody's gonna get. Hey, listen, thank God we're not playing. What's his name? Perfect.
Oh man.
But
that guy tries to hurt people for real.
That guy, but no, it's a division game. It's Thanksgiving Day, especially with everything going on right now, man. To me, there's nothing better than being home on Thanksgiving. Not only watching football, but watching your team play primetime at 8:00 at night, dude. To me, this is gonna be big for me. I'm looking forward to watching it, and spending time with the family. So that's a big plus for me.
Of course.
And then the third game that I'm looking forward to the most is the Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
That's week 9. Week 9 in Dallas.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that one the most because again, people love to hype up Dallas so much. And they're America's team, blah, 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 whatever. And when I was looking at the spreads, Pittsburgh was an underdog in that game.
Yeah.
That to me, that's a game that we should go and dominate if we want to make a statement, because whether we agree with it or not, a lot of people now with certain additions to the Dallas Cowboys team, they're looking at Dallas Cowboys as contenders now, not just for the playoffs, but for like a late playoff run. So if we could go ahead into Dallas and take care of business there too, then to me that's gonna not just make a statement for the for the NFC conference, but just for the whole league in general. So those are the 3 games I'm really looking forward to the most.
How do you not pick the one with Myles Garrett? Yo? We want to see what he's gonna do back.
Hey, you know what? That's week 17. And if I got to touch on that real quick though, again, division game that's gonna be tough. You never know, man. If with the new coach with the Browns,
Yeah.
if they're looking at playoff contention and vice versa for Pittsburgh, that week 17 game could be chippy between the Browns and Pittsburgh, and we play in Cleveland, so that should be fun though.
Yeah, that division is always the chippiest in all of the football. You got Cincinnati hating each other, you got Cleveland hating each other, you got Pittsburgh, and you got Baltimore. Every single one of those teams literally hate each other. So,
hey, let me ask you something. How do you think how do you think Burrow's going to do in that division?
I think his first year is going to be a little rocky. I think he's going to have to get adjusted to the intensity of all the battles in the division. That's not something that is normal. Like, I think when normal quarterbacks go into their team, one, they're eased into their situation. He's not. He's going to be starting game 1 because they already dropped Dalton. And 2, like I said, that division is more chippy than any other division, so it's going to be more physical than any other division. So I think it's a little bit different being thrown into that from game 1 than it is from another division thrown into game 1. And it's either going to help him a lot because he'll learn a lot fast, or it may stunt his growth. But we'll have to see.
And he's going to be dealing with some of the best pass rushers in the league and some of the best defense in the league. So, I'm looking forward to it. I'm personally a fan of the kid. It's hard not to like him. I like him a lot. Yeah. But we're just going to have to wait and see and see how that plays out. Now, Pete, I wanted to ask you, too, with the whole pandemic going on, do you see, everything going on affecting how fans will attend games, whether it's East Coast, West Coast, or in general?
I honestly think it'll be tough for me to see fans unless they make some changes to the stadium where it's like 1 out of every 3 seats. It's very hard for me to see that they immediately let fans in to start the season because September is about 3.5 months away, 3.5 to 4 months away. And to me, that's very close to put 70,000 people together like that. So I just find it hard to believe. But I know that the NFL has some things in place that may be able to help out with that. So, for example, if the NFL season is delayed at any point, they can actually shift the first 4 weeks to the final 4 weeks.
Right.
If you look at week 2, the person that you play in week 2 has the same bye as you. So that if you have to play the bye week instead of playing week 2, you can play that week. So everything shifted around a little bit that it can be pretty much shifted where week 1 will turn into week 18, week 2 will turn into week 19 or whatever and shift it around from there. So they have a little bit of things in place where they can move it. And I think that they're going to try to play it, but if they can't get fans in there, I think they'll still go for it. I think football is a made-for-TV sport, so I don't think it'll hurt it that much. The one big difference will be the home field advantage. You won't hear the crowd cheering for you when you do well and booing the other team. But I think that is a made-for-TV sport. So in terms of actually playing the sport, I think it'll be no problem playing with no fans.
That's a good point because and the point I was making to some people today too was, on TV you see the yard lines, you see the first down yellow lines, the red lines, and everything. So you actually get a better feeling for it when you're watching it on TV.
It's completely made for TV.
Exactly. So I completely agree with you. No fans, obviously, the only disadvantage I see is for the home teams, no home field advantage, but that's about it. Otherwise, I'll personally be okay with it if that were the case though. Now, but obviously, we want to see fans, especially us going to these games.
Yeah, but I mean, and also you get a true sense of who the better team is. If there's no fans swaying everything, because fans not only sway the players, but they may sway referees. They may sway how the game is called. So if the game is called directly down the line, like you're on a regular practice field, neutral field, you get to see who actually the real team is, the better prepared team is.
Hey, and we might get some really good trash talking too.
Yo, man, that's the part I can't wait to see because tennis actually came back today. Tennis was playing a game with no fans, and it was actually weird but fun to watch. They were playing on the Tennis Network. It was live. It was from West Palm Beach, Florida, and you can hear like the players talking to each other. You can hear like the announcer when they call out and everything like that. And they played it where it was just the 2 people. There was no ball boys. They actually went and got their own balls when they hit it, and it was one referee, and that was it. And they kind of like judged themselves, so it was new, but it actually went pretty well. It wasn't bad.
Wow. Yeah, this is something that we're going to have to get used to, but I'm really looking forward to it because, again, it'll be very interesting to see the league play with no fans. where
Hmm.
you can actually hear the hits because they're hard. When you go to
Yeah.
these games, they get hit hard, and sometimes
Yeah.
you can hear it on TV. They get hit super hard, and they trash talk a lot.
Oh yeah.
So that's
They
something
do.
it's something new and fun,
Mhm.
and it's something to keep an open mind about, just in
Yeah.
case we do get no fans in the near future.
I think this is actually the best time for them to mic up players. Like that would be awesome to have mic'd up. Like they can obviously listen to see what they can put on TV and can't put on TV. But I think
Right.
it's the best time because you get a complete insight of the trash talking, and you can cut out the stuff that's too dirty for TV.
Wow. Some of the characters in the NFL, I would definitely mic up. Some
Yeah,
like for sure, for
I'll tell
sure.
you what, cornerbacks talk more trash than anybody else.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
They almost have to because they have to have that little cockiness inside them to be because they're left out there on the island 90% of the time. So they have to try to get in the wide receiver's head. So if you mic up the cornerbacks alone, that'll be a great thing.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, like I said, weird but yet exciting times, ahead of us.
Mm. All right. So now what else we got for football?
All right. So for football, we let's talk about some of the future bets we got going on. So who are your top three teams according to the current odds right now to win the Super Bowl? Eh, obviously we looked through them already. Now, who do you got for your top three?
So one of the teams that you actually mentioned earlier, I think will be in at least the NFC Championship game, and that's the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
Looked over their entire roster after their draft, and they literally don't really have any big holes to fill. Their offensive line is above average and solid. You got Zeke, who's an all-pro running back. You got, and obviously Cooper got 1,100 yards last year. Michael Gallup got 1,100 yards last year. You're throwing in the guy that I consider the best wide receiver in the draft, CeeDee Lamb, who I think could get 1,000 yards. You replace Jason Witten, who I didn't think was actually good. He's a good mentor, but I don't think in terms of catching the ball and being athletic on that team, he didn't fit. So they actually replaced him with somebody in Blake Jarwin, who I think is actually better than Witten was. And that offense is going to be pretty much unstoppable. So then you flip it to the other side of the defense, and you've got people like Clinton Dix and Xavier Woods at safety. You got people all around the field. They drafted a cornerback in Trayvon Diggs to help fill the role for Byron Jones leaving. And obviously they have pass rushers like Lawrence and everybody. Their linebacking crew is great with Jalen Smith and also Sean Lee. And they just have a stacked team on paper. But I think them firing the coach and getting a new voice in there, I think is going to be the biggest impact because now when you get tired of hitting the same coach all the time. So when you finally get that new coach in there, you got a new energy. Everybody is ready to play for them. They're ready to prove themselves. And I think, and their odds are 22-1.
Wow.
For me to say that a team is going to be in the NFC Championship, so you're one game away from the Super Bowl and you're at 22-1, I'm going to bet on them every day. So,
Oh my God, easy.
Dallas Cowboys at 22-1.
Okay. Who's your second
I
one?
won't take as long as this, but my second pick is actually on you guys, the Pittsburgh Steelers at 28-1. I think you guys will be a top 4 team in the AFC. So you'll be one game away from the AFC Championship game. And with that, at 28-1, it's pretty hard to really complain about that when you got big men coming back. If James Conner can stay healthy, you got Juju, you got Clay Poole that you drafted in the second round. So you have people now, and you always had a good offensive line. You had a top 5 defense last year. Everything is coming together at the right time to where you guys can easily get to the divisional round or get to the AFC Championship game. So at 28-1, I can't really complain about that. The last team that I'm going to put in there, and this is not being a homer, the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans went to the AFC Championship game last year. They are in a division where Houston seems to be giving away all their players. The Indianapolis Colts, I don't know what's going on with them. And it's just like, it's amazing that they are right now at 28-1, at 30-1. So that's going to be my other team to play.